Hey, everybody, how you doing? Well, that's good. Welcome to PHLY Flyers Pregame, presented by Bet365. My name is Bill Matz. I'm your director of fun and games for the evening. Joining me live in the Xfinity studio, he's here, folks.
Hey.
It is Philadelphia's #1 hockey beat writer, live and in living color. It is Charlie O'Connor. It's good to have you in studio for a pre and post.
It's good to be here.
We did promise the people one like last weekend, and then we ended up doing it remote.
Right.
But this is like maybe the first pre and post we're both going to be in studio for.
I think it is.
I am excited for it. I'm excited for tonight's game. It's been a nice little online battle all off season between Flyers fans and Habs fans.
Yeah.
It's been
Forgot about that.
The Michkov versus Demidov debate. It's gone on nonstop really since Montreal didn't draft Michkov.
Basically,
This is how this has gone. And now we see them up against each other in the regular season for the very first time. Actually, Mish didn't play on that in that preseason game against Montreal either. So it might be their first meeting in the NHL ever.
Cool.
If I am correct. But we have a lot to get to tonight. First thing I gotta tell you, hit that like button. 34 to start the show. Wonderful. We want to get pregame to 100. That is always the goal. If you can get us over that, that would be awesome. Speaking of awesome, we're going to Anaheim, baby. You're going to want to come out with us. Philly Sports Trips and PHLY are teaming up for the California takeover. We are heading to see the Ducks at the Honda Center. We are going to see the Flyers play the Kings at the arena formerly known as Staples. There's going to be a watch party for the Flyers-Sharks game. And if that wasn't enough, John LeClaire is coming on the trip. You got to go to allphly.com/events right now. Get in on this. Spots are very, very limited, but you can put your deposit down, make a couple of payments, and bang, you are going on an awesome trip. It's great to tell you about this on the night the Flyers are in Montreal, because Philly Sports Trips sent us to Montreal last year, and it was a phenomenal time. Now, we're going to California, man. We're going from March 17th to the 22nd, so you're going to get a chance to enjoy some of the sights, some of the sun, all of that, plus some hockey games. allphly.com/events. All right, we take a look at tonight's lineup, Charlie, and I don't know if we have it confirmed yet, but we have what we believe is going to be the lineup, and we have a couple of changes. I think notably, we see Dvorak with Tippett and Zegras. That's interesting. Zegras, I feel like, has been primarily a left winger.
Yes, and first time we'll see how it plays out. But if this is indeed the way they're running it, this is the first time Zegras has been on the right.
Coots with Michkov and Brink, which I find interesting. Cates with Grebenkin and Konechny. Grebenkin getting a shot in the top 9. And then the Gaucher, Abels, Hathaway, fourth line. Let's start with a couple of things. Michkov on that left wing with Couturier and Brink. I feel like Brink has like only played right wing. Misha's gone back and forth.
Yeah,
in
he's
time in
played,
the NHL.
He's played left.
He's done both. When he's spent a ton of time on the left, and it's really like, okay, who's where with him and TK. He's doing it again with Coots now and Brink. I think the thing I've noticed most about Michkov's struggles to start this season in the offensive zone, because that's where, like, listen, man, it's gonna take some time before he's a complete player. You know, he might never be, and if he scores 100 points, who cares? But like, the things I've noticed about his struggles are he wants to be on that right side. He's opened up for one-timers. He can distribute. He can go forward and back. But like when the puck's on the wall and he's on his backhand, he has really struggled to control the puck. I think I've noticed a lot of his turnovers, a lot of the mishandles coming in that situation where he has to decide, like, do I go back to the point? Do I try to take it on my backhand? And I've been poke checked. Here we go. And now there's a battle. I feel like this could negate some of the little stuff that is preventing him from doing everything he can do in the offensive zone. And having Brink on that other side, like, man, one, really good distributor. Two, he wins board battles. He's tough. He's been on a checking line that has generated offense, but it's a checking line. I kind of like this combination.
Yeah, all these combos are the combos they use in the third period. So they basically just went back to what they had in the third period on Sunday when Taka threw the lines in a blender. Happy to see Grebenkin up on the top 9. But speaking about Michkov, it's interesting because apparently Taka this morning, I'm obviously not on this trip, But apparently this morning, Tocchet was asked about Michkov being on the left side, and Tocchet said that he thinks that Michkov has been playing faster when he's on the left side. Now, I think it's more, I'm not expecting it to be a cure-all by any means, and it's more of a thing in the defensive zone and the neutral zone, moving the puck up ice. In the offensive zone, yeah, maybe you spend a little bit more time on the left, especially, in quick transition rushes and whatnot. But once the cycle game gets going, everybody's everywhere. Then it just becomes F1, F2, F3. It's not like you stay on the left side the entire time, but you probably spend a little bit more time there. I don't know. It could help, but we've seen him on the left a lot this year, and he struggled. So I'm not too worried about this. I'm not too amazed by this. It just seems like a way, I think more than anything else, for Tocchet to get him on a line with Brink. And he liked what he saw from those lines, at least better than the lines he had to start the game, which
absolutely,
those were not good.
That's not a shock. And I do like having, I think, Konechny, a right winger, but they switched a lot, just like you said, once the cycle game gets going, it's wherever you are. But like having, and when he's with Tippett goes back and forth. This is on the other side, Bobby Brink is a right winger.
Yeah,
like that
is pure right winger.
That is his position. I don't know if I've seen him play the left in the time he's been with, maybe like in that first call up.
Maybe in the beginning.
Yeah, like maybe that first year when he played like whatever, 10 games or whatever it was. But I wonder maybe, and there's plenty of reasons for it, like little stuff like when you're in the defensive zone or you're backing up defending, like, all right, that means you have your right hand on your stick and you're taking away the middle. It's just easier to play a little defense that way. Fair. Little stuff like that. And with the fewer pucks on his backhand, maybe that will lead to fewer failed offensive zone
He is turning the puck over a lot this year. And on some level, you expect a guy who's handling the puck a lot to have a lot of turnovers. Sure. That's what happens. But it seems like he's turning it over quicker this year than he did pretty much at any time last year.
And I always say, you go to NHL.com, sort by turnovers. Guys with the most giveaways, you know who they are, the guys who have the puck the most.
Exactly.
Or someone who just stinks. But typically, the guys who have the puck the most. But you deal with it because, like, they make a ton of plays, too. Mm-hmm. And that hasn't been the case yet for Mish. So it's just kind of maybe gripping the stick too tight, maybe a little pressure, maybe he's still dealing with the conditioning. It's been a struggle for him to start this season. Maybe this new combination will be something.
Maybe.
My other part here is about the forwards. Really, really missing Tyson Foerster.
Oh, yeah.
He is one of their most complete players. He's off to a good start. It is crazy to me that I mean, not crazy because we know hockey, but he injured that foot on a blocked shot like 6 minutes into the first period. And he was like, I'm just not going to take my skate off because then, all right, you won't let me back in and I won't be able to get my foot back in my skate.
Exactly.
They don't, like, that's what happens. It swells up. Okay, can't skate anymore. And then he played 18 more shifts and scored a third period goal after he injured the foot. That's just funny to me.
Yeah, well, it seems like based on the reporting from Anthony Sanfilippo and Jackie, it seems like he avoided a fracture.
No break, though.
So that's probably why he was able to play through it. It was just a pain thing, and his foot was just stuck in the skate, so the pain didn't. And you could tell watching that game he was a bit hobbled. Like you could tell his turns weren't as quick, and he's not a particularly fast turner anyway. But you could tell he was a bit hobbled even after he came back. That said, I'm sure it hurts a lot more when the foot isn't stabilized.
Oh, yeah.
It's just probably a really, really bad bruise and it's all swelled up.
While I do obviously greatly miss Tyson Foerster in this lineup, here's the opportunity. Here is the opportunity for Nikita Grabenkin. We've wanted to see him with someone.
Sure.
No, not to diss these players, but Jet Luchenko, Rodrigo Abels, Jacob Gaucher, Garnet Hathaway, not exactly offensive dynamos. Now he gets a chance in the top 9, and who's he playing with? He's playing with Travis Konechny, and maybe their most effective center. So here is his chance to play, you would assume, more than 10 minutes and make a name for himself to stick in this top 9.
Yeah, I think it's noteworthy. I mean, I'm obviously excited to see Grabenkin with with quality players, see what he can do. Hopefully he gets more minutes because that's been a constant complaint from, I think, everybody, including us, that, hey, maybe this guy who does cool things, maybe give him a few more shifts a game and see if he can do more cool things. But one thing that I do find interesting about that trio is putting Konechny with Cates because, look, Konechny does score a goal in the third period of Sunday's game, but Rick Tocchet made some interesting comments after the game about the fact that the leadership on the team needs to do a little bit more in terms of getting to the dirty areas and, just playing a smarter game in the offensive zone. I know Konechny scored. I hated his game on Sunday. I thought his game was really bad. Like the highlight play that I use as my turning point of the game in my article on PHLY was that ridiculous pass when he has a clear lane of the net and he passes to Zegras. That was the play I highlighted. And I have a feeling that Rick Tocchet saw what I saw in that, like, he didn't like what Travis Konechny gave him, aside from the goal, but it's a set play off a faceoff. Okay, you can shoot. Cool. I don't think he liked what Konechny gave him because he's pointing out leaders.
Yeah.
And I don't think he was talking about Sean Couturier. And I don't think he was talking about Travis ANAHEIM because he basically said, yeah, the defensemen were pretty good. It's the forwards. There's one obvious guy you're looking at here if you're talking about high-end guys and leaders. And that's Travis Konechny. And I'm intrigued that he is with Cates because Cates is obviously the reliable guy. He is, as you said, maybe their most effective center. He's been real good this year. And he's a guy who maybe can, because Couturier does this too, to be sure, but Cates can maybe open up space for Konechny and do those little things that Konechny isn't doing so far this year all that well. Maybe this is a little bit of, not a punishment, but Tocchet sees something wrong with Konechny, and he's like, well, I'll put him with Cates. Maybe Cates can fix him.
I'll put him with Cates, and we can maybe get those details of his game going.
Right.
And the little things inform the big things. Right. Suddenly you make the plays, and I don't think it's a shock. Like, yeah, Cates, and also Grabenkin, who has made mistakes, but what we've liked about him, he's got the puck skill, and he plays with the physicality. He can work on the cycle as well.
Yeah.
And when you're talking about the Cates line being broken up, like, oh, they're the only line that knows how to forecheck. All right, maybe you're giving him some semblance of kind of what he had with that line. Do we know if it's going to be Emil Andre yet? We do.
Hey,
okay, so the lines are a little different than we thought. It is going to be Delorier in at left wing, so it will not be Rodrigo Abels. Delorier is in, and yeah, there we see it. Emil Andre will be in the game tonight.
Well, that's good news, and I think this is just confirmation. And when Andre got sent down, and I don't want to criticize the fans for this because I get it. Andre's been playing well when he gets in games, and then it's like, well, you're messing with him, you're sending him down. What the hell? I was pretty sure when they sent him down, particularly based on the comments that Tocchet said after the game, basically like, I want to give this guy a longer look. I like what I've seen. He's been real good in the 2 games he's played. It was very clearly a roster thing. Now, were there other things they could have done? I guess they could have sent down Grabenkin. I guess they could have put Yinning on waivers or Juleson on waivers, but Juleson's basically an every night guy, so he wasn't going on waivers. It was basically Yinning. But if you're trying to manage a fluid situation, which very much was the case with Couturier, Andre was just the easiest guy to send down. You don't have him for a couple games. It's not the end of the world. The fact that he immediately gets called up and is in the lineup for the first game after the call-up tells you that, look, I get the frustration that they're jerking Andre around, but it tells you that in an ideal world, they see what we see and they want to get Andre in games to see what he can do. I hope he continues to build off of the strong games in the NHL he's delivered so far.
One more thing about what we've seen with the forward rotation, specifically on the fourth line. Coots goes down, Foerster goes down. They have to maneuver some things. They call up Gaucher. Abels has been in and out of the center spot. He's played some wing, played some center. Do you wish they had waited one more week to send back Jet Luchenko?
It's a good question because I thought the same thing. It is very Flyers.
I like Jacob Gaucher.
Yeah, it's
He's fine.
It's very Flyers that they're like, well, he needs to get ice time, and then like 3 days later, Sean Couturier gets hurt.
Immediately.
And the funny part about that too was that Rick Tocchet straight up said in explaining the Gaucher call up was that we needed a right shot center. Well, guess which way Jet Luchenko shoots.
Such is life there, but we will see how this lineup. I am excited to see Grabenkin in the top 9, and always happy to see Andre get a chance because I think he's got the highest ceiling of anybody in this rotation.
Yes.
Whatever the hell they're doing,
100%.
Like, whatever the hell they're doing with this third pair
in a runaway.
It's Andre. I don't know what he's gonna be, but it's going to be probably better than Adam Yinning. That's just my guess.
And when you're struggling, as the Flyers are right now, to create offense, particularly shots on goal, maybe bring in a guy who excels on the breakout and give you the puck a little bit more to maybe put some shots actually on the net.
All right, we're going to talk about Dan Vladar returning to the net. We're going to talk about that showdown between the two Russians. But first, I got to tell you about our presenting sponsor. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. I tell you all the time, the 90 million users, pioneers in live in-game betting, 78 different sports to bet on while the action is happening. You can always have action at Bet365, but my favorite thing, it's the NHL early payout offer, because with the Bet365 early payout offer, you're a winner if your team gains a 3-goal lead. It is that simple. You bet a team on the money line, or you make them a part of your parlay. They're marked as winners as soon as they go up 3. No need to sweat the rest of the game. It's that simple. And we have breaking news from Bet365. New customers now get $300 in bonus bets when you bet just $5, win or lose. All you got to do is sign up, use the code PHLY365, deposit $10, place a bet for $5, and you get $300 in bonus bets whether your initial bet wins or loses. Bonus bets can be used on the spread, total, player props, futures, and more. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 or older and physically located in PA. If you or somebody who has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. And now you know what time it is. It's time to tell you about Elkin Chevrolet. Because sports fans, you already know who's dishing those championship-level deals every single day. It's our friends at Elkins Chevrolet, located on Route 73 South in Marlton, New Jersey. It's run by 3 brothers, Jason, Adam, and Josh. These guys are in the store every single day working to make sure they have a huge lineup of Chevys at the best price and providing that always honking good service. No missed shots, no drama, just real brothers running a local business and backing every deal like it's the championship game. So if you're in the market for a new Chevy, make your next move to Elkin Chevrolet. Real brothers, real deals, and a whole lot of honking good service. Shop now at elkinchevrolet.com. Together, let's drive. All right, Dan Vladar, Charlie, 4-3-0, 924, 211. Hell of a start to the year.
Yeah.
But he allowed 4 goals on 19 shots against Toronto after giving up 10 on the first 165 shots he faced this season. Habs, they've got the second highest scoring team in the East. They're over 3.5 goals a game. They're only behind, they're the highest scoring team in the East, second in the league behind only Winnipeg. They average only 26 shots a game, which is 27th, but they convert a lot of them. Is this Dan Vladar's biggest test yet?
No, because I'm not buying that Montreal actually is one of the best offensive teams in the league.
Okay.
Like, as you said, 26 shots on goal per game. It's 27th in the league. This strikes me more as a team that is benefiting from high shooting percentages to start the year, because we are just a little over 10 games in. Teams can ride a hot shooting percentage run in the beginning of the season. I don't look at Montreal and see a holy crap, this team scares me group up front. Now, obviously, Ivan Demidov is a guy who has the potential to be that at some point, but I'm not looking at him as a guy who's a superstar now. Cole Caulfield's off to a fantastic start. I don't think Cole Caulfield is a 60-goal scorer, like the kind of pace he's on right now. So I don't think it's an easy game for Dan Vladar. Montreal's feeling pretty good about themselves. They're feeling good. They've got the confidence. They're a hot shooting team right now, but I don't worry about them the same way I would worry about Tampa, even if they are outscoring Tampa right now. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And like, look, Cole Caulfield, co-leader in goals with 10. He's shooting 29.4%.
Probably won't keep doing that forever.
I bet you he scores at a higher than or shoots at a higher than average percentage throughout his career and throughout this season. But 30% is pretty high. After that, Slafkovsky, 22%. Alex Newhook, 33. Oliver Kapanen, 25. Demidov is at 21.4. Like, yes, they are scoring a ton. They will not continue to score at this rate on this number of shots. Now, like we were saying before we went on the air, also, I bet you their offense is better than 27th in terms of shot generation.
Yeah, probably.
Like, I bet you these things maybe even out a little bit.
Yeah,
but like shooting as they are at like 20% doesn't seem like a thing that's going to continue when league average is like 9.5 or whatever it is. So they are a really good offense. They've been electric to start this season. They've had some very exciting games. This is a test for the Flyers defense, but I don't see this as like Yeah, man, I don't know. There's just nothing you can do about McKinnon and Makar. Just nothing you can do.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
they're inevitable.
Yeah.
I don't see them as inevitable.
Yeah, and this is something like this is always going to be a place where I differ from a lot of fans in that I'm a trust the large sample kind of guy. And this is still a very small sample. I do not think Montreal has magically turned into an offensive juggernaut because they're off to a hot start. I think regression is coming for them. It may not come tonight. The Flyers aren't playing that well, and if they play the same way they played this weekend, Montreal could win 5-1. But I don't think Montreal is now one of the best teams in the league and also is one of the best offensive teams in the league. I'm not buying that holding for the rest of the season.
The way this team has defended in front of Vladar has been pretty good. The defense, surprisingly to me at least, has been way better than expected when you just laid the names out to start the season. Like, ooh, man, I can't believe how much I miss Rasmus Ristolainen. You know, and listen, he's turned himself into a nice player, but like, can't believe I actually miss him. And they've done a good job. Offensively, terrible. 18 shots last game. They also only gave up 21. You know,
it's true. They're playing good defense.
It's not as if like they got blown out and just like got some save. Kolosov was fine, but I don't think they gave up a ton of high end scoring chances. I will say I am interested to see how Vladar responds to getting pulled. 4 goals on 19 shots. And listen, a lot of those shots, Toronto's a really good shooting team. You get beat clean by Austin Matthews.
Sure.
Such as life.
Yeah, you tip your cap.
He once had 69 goals. You know, like, I don't know what you can do about that. Those were some really good shots that beat him, but it was his first down game of the year. I want to see how he comes back tonight.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. And Rick Tocchet was, I wouldn't say adamant, but he made sure to make his point that he didn't think Vladar was that bad on Saturday.
I didn't think he was bad.
Because, you know, a couple of us, myself included, kind of characterized the game as a bit of a struggle for Vladar. And Tocchet kind of pushed back on that. He's like, look, number one, guy's been fantastic this season. So you don't really want to bury a guy who to that point had been like near perfect. But also, he didn't really hate Vladar's game. Now, Tocchet sort of played into that narrative by pulling him out of the game. If he really liked his game, maybe he should have kept him in the whole game. But he was pretty defensive of his goalie, and I mostly agree. I think the only goal in that Toronto game that I really didn't like was the 4th goal, the one that gets him pulled. To me, that's a goal. That's a shot you got to come up with a save on. But overall, Vladar's been great, and I mean, to this point, I don't know why you wouldn't have confidence he's going to bounce back.
All right, let's talk a little about this showdown between the two highly touted Russian prospects in tonight's game. It is Matvei Michkov versus Ivan Demidov. Demidov off to a great start. He got a little preview of his rookie season. He played 2 regular season games last year. He got into 5 playoff games with Montreal. He scored a little bit. Didn't set the world on fire, but plenty of highlights. Looked good. Did interesting stuff. Mm-hmm. He's off to a good start this year. 3 goals, 7 assists, 10 points. And then you look at Matvei, and it's not going great, at least in terms of what we came into this year expecting. Only the 1 goal, 6 total points. And while it's not off to the best start in the world for Matvei, I just had to go back to last year's game logs. He had 9 points through 12 games last year, so he's not terribly off the pace. He's 3 points behind.
Yeah. Okay. Scoring more goals, though.
Yes, he was scoring more goals. He had no points and was a -3 in that 12th game. Then they went to Carolina. He had an assist, but so he's at 10 points through 13. And then, of course, he was scratched infamously for games 14 and 15.
It was that early.
Yeah, it was.
I was on that trip. Yeah.
And then he had 18 points in the next 15 games. He's through 27 games into his career, a point per game player. What I'm trying to say is it's just going to take one. It really feels like he just needs the one I'm the Mad Russian game, and then he will be off to the races again the way he was last year. We were also like the expectations, like every little thing he did last year. Sure. Like, did you see that?
Yeah.
There's been less of that this year, but also yeah, man, that's just what he does. Like, of course he created a scoring chance out of nowhere. He's Matvei Michkov. Right. Like, there's just a little less of that. I feel like the start is disappointing, but maybe not as bad as we've characterized it.
I don't know. It's been pretty bad.
The play hasn't been good.
I think where I'm at,
up and down.
Yeah, I think where I'm at is I don't think we are overrating how poor he's been to start the year. I haven't liked very many of his games. There have been a few. Obviously, he had that 2-assist game against the Predators last week. That looked like maybe he was starting to break out. He's had some good shifts. He's had some good periods. Overall, I haven't liked his game too much. So I don't think we're overrating how underwhelming his start of the season has been. I'm not worried about him. Like, I'm not worried that this is the new normal, that we were all just hoodwinked by his rookie season. I think he's a great player, and he's going to start playing really well at some point. But we can believe that while also acknowledging that he's not off to the best of starts.
No, he clearly isn't off to the best of starts. We were talking preseason, like, I expect him to be an 80-point player this year. And if all goes right, there's no reason he can't have that. Oh, yeah, he's arrived, sophomore sort of season. Right now, it's like, I just want him to get back on the pace he was on last year, be a 65-point guy.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
That would be nice at this point. I'm with him thinking, just get me the one. And maybe tonight is the night, matched up with Ivan Demidov, because we saw last year,
that's true,
whether it was up against McDavid early in the season, I think it was an ESPN game or some sort of national TV game. That's where he had his breakout. The 2 goals. Yeah. He's off to the races. It was the Matvei show. Mm-hmm. And then against Ovechkin, he's scoring goals and looking over at Ovi on the bench. We saw him up against Macklin Celebrini. He's scoring. He's punching him in the face. These sorts of matchups, Kirill Kaprizov, he had that big game against the Wild. These sorts of matchups, and maybe specifically against the other big-name Russians, get him a little juiced up. I'm kind of feeling good. Now, a little spoiler, we're going to do pregame picks in a second. I might never do another Matvei bet again this season because it's just bad luck. He does something. I'm like, all right, he's going to get hot. And I bet it. And then we lose and everyone's mad. So we're not going to do that. But I feel like this, maybe I've said this every pregame. He just needs one. And this feels like as good a chance as any.
Yeah, I do agree with you that last year, Michkov, it seemed like he rose to the occasion. When there was a big moment, he in a big game, something where eyes were on him, he would find a way to make an impact. We obviously haven't seen that yet this year. He's had some opportunities. He's had some breakaways and key moments that he hasn't been able to finish, but we know it's in there. We know the talent's in there. We know he just didn't randomly forget how to score goals. This guy's been a fantastic goal scorer literally his entire life. And this maybe is a game, and also it's in Montreal. And I know that, the Habs aren't the Habs, but like you've been to Bell Center.
Oh my God.
It's a hockey cathedral. It's a cool place. And maybe that's something that, gets the juices flowing a little bit extra for Michkov, that, he's in this like cathedral of hockey against his, a guy who he grew up playing against, who's a countryman, who he wants to show he's better than. Maybe that does, get him a little bit more amped up for this one. And he showed last year that when he's amped up, tends to play quite well.
98, 99 likes, something like that. I can't quite tell.
98.
Come on.
2 more likes.
Get us over the 100 mark as we go to pregame picks. This is our Bet365 pregame picks segment. Use code PHLY365 when you sign up at Bet365. Deposit $10 and place a bet for $5 to get $300 in bonus bets, whether your bet wins or loses. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 or older and in PA. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Only the one tonight, Charlie.
Okay.
And this is based...
Ooh, it's a bold bet.
Yes, it is based on a quote from Nick Seeler talking to Kevin Kurz about the message from Rick Tocchet. The team gets called out. You said it in postgame the other night. Rick Tocchet was like, I'm sorry to the fans because that was not a good game to watch. He's calling out the team, saying the leadership has to get to the dirty areas. We clearly need to create more. I think because of that, they are going to be able to shoot the puck. And there's going to be a concerted effort. You see this quote here from Nick Seeler. Obviously, we need to respond in the right way tonight. Get back to the willingness to do the hard things consistently. Getting more pucks to the net, more traffic, more people going to the middle of the ice, more support around the whole rink. The message got through. I think there's going to be a concerted effort to get to the net tonight. And because of that, I think they put a bunch of shots on that. It might not last. It might be a one-off. Okay. Montreal's been an okay shot suppression team this year. But I think for one night, the Flyers are going to respond to Sam Montembeault over 22.5 saves, a little bit better than even money. That is tonight's pregame pick, brought to you by our friends at Bet365. We have a couple of super chats to wrap up pregame. First one from DA Powerplay Man. Any chance TK's confidence was ruined by being healthy scratched for the entire Four Nations?
He got in a couple games.
Got into a game or two.
Yeah, but look, I've covered Travis Konechny for close to a decade now. I do not think anything is going to shatter that guy's confidence.
And like, getting healthy scratched on Team Canada isn't the same as getting healthy scratched because you're like, playing on a bad Flyers team and the coach is mad at you.
Yeah.
Like, it's a little different when you're on a Hall of Fame team.
Yeah. I mean, if anything, to be honest with you, like, if I'm going to go with the amateur psychologist trying to come up with an explanation for why Konechny hasn't been all that good to start the year, I mean, I would lean more towards maybe he's trying too hard because he's trying to impress Team Canada to get on the Olympic team. Now, I don't know if that's true, but that to me is a lot more plausible than his confidence was shattered by getting scratched on Team Canada.
Yeah, all right. And next one here from our pal, R. Park. Andre plays, Flyers win.
Hey,
and honestly, the same goes for Delorier. I know we criticize when Delorier's in the lineup, but I'm pretty sure they're 4-0 when he plays.
Okay.
That might be true. Don't
magic.
fact check me. All right. And that is all the time we have for you on PHLY Flyers Pregame. Thank you all for listening. Thanks for hanging out. Make sure you're following us right here on the YouTube page. Hit that like button and set that reminder bell. We'll go live as soon as this thing goes final for post-game. Follow us on Twitter at PHLY_Flyers. That's where I do all my in-game tweeting. And follow the podcast just for funsies. Search PHLY Flyers. That's it for us. I am Bill Matz. That's Charlie O'Connor. Thank you to Brenna. Let's go Flyers.
We all silly like the mayor.